It's Psychic Ash, brought to you by Buy Minute. This just in, Buy Minute has canceled their support. Thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of Crash Landing. I was just going to do day 2, but it looks like what we're going to want to achieve is going to take longer than a day. So let's go ahead and proceed. So I had to restart because I had lost my original save where I just did day 1. So let's just go ahead and clear this out. So I just did day 1 over again, just off camera. Basically just got a bed. I've also decided that instead of the normal path that I was taking, that I'm going to go ahead and increase the general size of my quote-unquote claimed territory a little bit. I don't know if you can see on the mini-map. The size is actually quite a bit larger. And this is because I'm actually going to allot for certain things. One of the things that I didn't mention before was that this mod pack is not actually friendly to working in the day all the time. You actually do a lot better working at night. You manage your water and your temperature better. Everything works better at night. It's just dealing with the mobs is just crazy horrible. So I mean, if at all possible, I'd rather not skip the night, but right now when you first start out, there's just no way. You're not prepared. So what we're going to do is put together some infrastructure to allow us to handle the night, and we'll get to all that here in a second. Priority 1, though, is going to be water, and then food, because that's kind of where we're sitting. Okay, there's a couple different ways to handle this. At the moment, though, we're going to go with sifting, unfortunately. There's really nothing I can do about that. It's one of the necessary evils. Later on, we'll automate this process using the autonomous activators. And I will say that if you do have 2 players or playing on a server with multiple people, this actually can be a lot easier because you can build extra sifters. You'll each get autonomous activators from the quests. So you'll just basically double your rewards, whereas playing single player, I'll have to just deal with 1, which is fine. I can deal with 1. That's not a big deal. Let's put some of this stuff away. I don't need you. Don't need you. I'm gonna need you. Let's put you away. So one of the things that we're gonna look at is we are going to need a stove, first and foremost. Some kind of furnace. Sorry, not necessarily stove. Some kind of furnace. We're going to need either a regular cobblestone furnace or slab furnace, and given with our available resources, we're going to go with the slab furnace, obviously, from Tinker's Construct. Just because that's a lot easier to make. PB&J over here. I only have to have 6 pieces of cobblestone to make a slab furnace as opposed to, 8 for a full size. I'm not sure quite what the differences are. I think there's no automation on a slab furnace as there is on a regular for what little automation you can do. And I'm trying to think of what else. There used to be a thing where the slab furnace didn't give off heat, but they changed that. It's been fixed, or now it recognizes it because the slab furnace definitely does give off heat. You'll notice when you're standing by it, the temperature gauge, the little black lines, they'll move up in the red, letting you know that, hey, you're by a really hot source of heat. So, I know this is really boring watching me sit here, so one of the things that we can talk about here is what we plan on doing. If you see the very large square mapped out, and by the way, just so you know, there are a few mods that I added to the pack that I've already discussed on the forums. I don't feel it takes away from the challenge. There's just some quality of life things. One of which is the obsidian pressure plates. Obsidian pressure plates, if you're not familiar with that mod, it's it basically just adds obsidian pressure plates. They're just like regular pressure plates, like wooden pressure plates or stone or iron. The difference is that they can only be activated by a player. Dropping items on them, enemies stepping on them will not activate them. They will only be activated by a player, and this is extremely useful. The other thing I've added is Steve's Carts. Sorry, my mind went blank there for a second. Steve's Carts is a mod that adds different type of mine carts, different kind of tracks. Originally, we had discussed using this as a method of getting to and from the city rather quickly. And though I still might explore that as an option, I think I probably will also use the hang glider method to go back and forth. My interest in Steve Carts is really based around wanting a tree farm, basically. It'll produce saplings, it'll produce apples, it'll produce charcoal, and it'll produce wood. And those are things that I can put to a lot of use. So, you know, that's... If you want to go a different route, you know, feel free not to add those or add others if you like. Like I said, I've spoken on the forums and nobody seems to have a real problem with that. The cost associated with Steve's Carts is really expensive. It takes diamonds and obsidian to start for a decent cart, not to mention the rails and the ties. So yeah, we're not really too concerned about that being all crazy and out of hand. And as far as the obsidian pressure plates, it basically does the same thing as a button would, supplying a redstone signal to the door. It's just instead of a button that you activate, it's a pressure plate. So those are just two quality of life mods that I've added. There was a couple others that we discussed, but those are the two that really stood out for me. Pressure plates mostly just because when I build the wall, as you can see the squares I mentioned before, when I build the wall, I don't want to waste durability on my tools, and I didn't want to just have a door to open and close, so I wanted something I could kind of run through and run out of if need be. Okay, it looks like we have... Where are we at on the sun? A little over there. It looks like we have reached our goal for the furnace. Yay! Okay. I put mine outside. Like I said, I don't want it heating up the inside here. Let's see where we are on metals. In order to automate water, there's a couple things we're going to need. Number one, we're going to need iron shears. That should be enough for two pieces of iron, which will give us a set of shears. Looks like we're going to need some more copper, we're going to need some more lead, and we're going to need some more tin. Put this in there. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to automate water production. So we're going to build 12 fluid ducts, 12 item ducts, a chest, and probably 4 or 5 barrels for the outside, and then I'll probably build another 1 or 2 barrels for inside the ship for dirt production. And basically the idea is that I'm going to take the sheared leaves, I'm going to stick them inside the chest. They're going to get pulled into a crucible, which is going to be powered by the pyrotheum, which I'll have to get out of the ship and bring it over to where I'm going to want it, which means I'm going to have to build a bucket. That'll cook down the leaves, make water, and then the water will get transported out of the crucible through the fluid ducts into the barrels where I'll be able to fill my empty water bottles, and then I'll turn around and I will store those in a barrel. So whenever I need them, I can just refill. And we're probably going to go through a lot, so that's priority number one. And then we'll look at food production. There's a couple different things we can do for food. once we get kind of a basics down, then we can start looking at cobblestone production. Where are we at in the sun? Cobblestone production is going to be the next thing that we work on after we get water and food under control. And we'll automate that as well. And that'll give us enough building materials, automated cobblestone, to build the wall that we want. And once we get the wall built and we get the half slabs on top of the wall and around the wall, we should by that point have enough glowstone to, and I'll show you how we're going to cut that up. We should have enough glowstone to light the entire interior of the wall, so that we don't have mobs spawning at all. And then we won't have to sleep anymore. We'll just have to worry about going from there. Just working. So we'll be able to work at night, and that'll cut down on our water usage, that'll cut down on our food usage. Our temperature won't be as big of an issue. Like I said, at night it's a lot more comfortable to work. And I think the space that I've given us should be able to allow us to do a couple things. I've seen a couple different ideas for mob spawners. Personally, I like the way I did it in my single player the best, which was I built a tower, and I'm trying to remember exactly how high I put it, but it wasn't enough to kill them. It was just enough to hurt them. And then I went over with my weapon and I dispatched them, as it were, and then constantly repaired my weapon as need be. What that allowed me to do was level up my weapon. I got a lot of add-ons to the weapon that I otherwise wouldn't have had. Knockback, Vorpal, that kind of thing. Later on, what I'll probably do with that is I'll probably build one. I'll probably use that to level up the weapon. And then when we actually go to do the mob grinder for mob essence to power the generator, what we'll do after that is we'll go ahead and use that mob grinder or that mob farm for that. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm trying to wonder what we're going to do for food. Food's kind of a luck of the draw thing. Basically, with the way the mod works right now, with the different food requirements, you really want, I don't know if you can see right here, but it says diminishing returns start after eating any food 34 more times. That's because this only provides like a half a hunger heart or whatever. I forget what the size is as far as what it can offer, but you have to bring some variety into your food. What I've found is if you get a couple of different options, like 4 or 5 different meals, snacks, or 2 or 3 good meals, you can vary it up enough. One of my favorite things to do is make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, because you can make the bread out of rice. You can make dough very easily. All the salt that we're getting, you can make the dough very easily. You make bread, and then you make the peanut butter out of peanuts. And though those are all the same and consistent between all the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, just by changing the jelly, you get a lot of variety out of it. So with 4 or 5 fruit trees and a very small patch of garden, you can get enough variety that you get to keep being fed. Let's see where we're at. Let's see here. That's 4. You know what? That should be enough. Where are we at on iron? Yeah, that should be enough. That's going to be awesome later. Okay. So let's start cooking up. Shift click didn't work on that. Interesting. Ooh, what is that? Copper? I have to do iron first. We'll do copper first. I do iron first to grab that, but that's okay. I'm gonna grab some wood. We're gonna need some of those. One of these. And personally, I like putting it over here. I'll put the barrels underneath it. I'll probably end up putting the pyrotheum under here. And then the crucible on top. Like I said, that'll require some creativity on my part. Let's see here. Copper. I'm trying to remember, I think it's like that. Fluid ducts. I think lead goes in the middle if I'm not mistaken, yeah. So yeah, so we'll end up putting 2 lead in the middle, we'll get 12 fluid ducts out of that, which should be enough, and then we'll get some tin ore out of that, so that won't be a big deal. And then once we get that, I think we should do some, I'll do some quests on Pam's Harvest. That'll get us some that's not gonna be enough. I'm gonna need 2 more barrels, or 2 more oak woods, and a chest, so 4 more oak woods. Anyways, I'll do the quest for Pam's Harvest. That'll give us a decent amount of rewards for food. Tools of the trade. Yeah, I'm not worried about that one right now. I guess it's gonna have to wait. I was hoping to do that earlier, but there's no way we can get rotten flesh without letting some mobs spawn, and we are, like I said, not in a position to allow that to occur, so I guess we will have to wait. That's alright. Put some of this stuff away. That is okay. It's sad, but it's okay. They'll have to wait to play with us. Aww. Stone. We'll use this for something special later. I have a plan for that. I left the let's see, I left the concrete or the cobblestone slabs in the chest, didn't I? That's okay. Put those in there. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna grab the, well, I still can. Put those here. Dig that down a little bit. Grab all this clay. That's dust, okay. Later on I'll bring this out a little bit. and we'll use this ground right here just to plant some stuff when we actually get some seeds, and then we'll bring it up further, drop it down a level, and that's where I'll put the autonomous activator when we first start. Oh man, I didn't mean to put that there. That's a shame. Let's see. Not quite enough to make a thing yet. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That should be enough. Alright, hopefully that's provides enough flame for that to get cooked up. We're going to need that, and I should have enough iron left over because I think we had 5 bars. I can make a bucket. I just hate getting that pyrotheum because it's so unstable. That's okay, I'll sneak over there and get it. I found the easiest way to do it is to go from the behind, go on top. If you have a pick, you can always go through the top, but since I haven't made one yet, I'll use, let's see, this is sweet. I'll use sand to block it off. It kind of helps kill some of that fire. And then come on the side before it has a chance to spread. And that should be enough to get it going here. Need some more wood. So we're going to make a couple barrels now. I don't know if you noticed, but my water's a little low. I do have some water in my bag, but I'm waiting. The episode I recorded before, I actually streamed doing all this, and it was a little less focused, I'll be honest, and I ended up with, I mean, I didn't die, but I ended up with as low as 6% water before I finally got the water working. And it's just because I was trying to do the water and the cobblestone generator at the same time, and you really need to focus on one or the other because they use a lot of the same materials to start. Yeah, it's not the best idea in the world. Oh, these are all cold water bottles too. No fun. Alright, well, let's do this. Oh, other pro tip. Fruits are always a good snack. I mean, if you're just walking around, and if you have some fruit trees like lemons or things that you don't want to contribute to, like jellies or things, or whatever your primary food source is, fruits tend to increase your water as well as your food. So keep that in mind. It's always a good source of hydration. Put those in there. And this is one of those examples that I was talking about where I'm focused on too many things. I have the cobblestone in there. I need to make 2 levers. And I have the cobblestone. I'm just being stubborn. We need it for that, and we need this. I'll need that as well. Need that. see. Alright, we'll start with 3 because I don't really have time to at the moment. Our water's a little dire, as it were. Alright, so we're gonna let's get the pyrotheum first before we put down the crucible. Right in there. So it's a much easier way to get it. It's not a whole lot of worries. Okay, here we are. And back away because it's going to get fired up. And then put this on top. That'll help. Put that on top. It seats about 20, so come on. Alright, so we got that. Now there's a reason why I've kind of enclosed that around, is because with the pyrotheum, when it's down like that, it's going to tend not to want to catch everything on fire. We'll do that. I'm going to get rid of this and back away, because that's where one of our levers is going to go. Because they have to have some kind of redstone signal to operate, unless you want to put a pneumatic servo in, and we don't have what's needed for a pneumatic servo, so we'll do that. We need some water. Yeah, I'll put that out front. While we're at it, while we're waiting, we can make a frying pan. Just waiting for some of that water to get made. So yeah, basically the leaves from that chest, I know I did that rather quickly. See, this is why I hate shift clicking. Anyways, it's not the first time I've done that. So, anyways, the leaves we put in the chest get pulled out. They get put into the crucible. The crucible melts them, turns them into water, shoves the water out through the fluid ducts into these little things, and when they get ready, like that, that's almost full. Why am I suffering from heat? It's not that hot out right now. It's weird. Normally it doesn't get like this until you get down to like 10. Come on, that furnace is not even on. Look at this, see? If I get close, the closer I get to this furnace, the more it freaks out. It's not even on. Now there's a frying pan, and the temperature's just jumping, skyrocketing. It's ridiculous. And there's not a whole lot I can do about because the nausea effect. I hate that. Because the nausea effect, if you get to that point where your hunger's like meh, then whatever. You can't eat, so the hunger kills you. Even if you could, you can't drink. So, give me a second, I have to relog. If you die like that, what ends up happening is there's no environmental data, and basically what that means is that it doesn't track your water or temperature. There's no, it's almost like that mod's been disabled. So, give me a minute, I'll be right back.